Do you have the #1 best dad? If so, why not make him this cute little gnome to show him just how much you care? Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah. In this video, I'm showing you how to make this adorable little layered papercraft gnome for Father's Day. This is a free SVG available from my website, so let's find out how to get it. You can download the free cutting file for this project at craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs or follow the link in the description of this video to go straight to the download page. The download comes in a zip folder and you need to unzip this before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, open up Cricut Design Space and start a new project. To upload the SVG file, click into Upload over on the left and then Upload Image. You can then either click Browse to find the file on your computer or drag and drop it in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of the folder and then the file to upload is the one which starts SVG in the file name. I'll click and drag that in and this is what it should look like with all of the pieces on top of each other so it looks like a completed picture. If you see all the pieces separate on the screen instead, that means you've accidentally uploaded the wrong file type. So if that's the case, click Cancel down here on the bottom and try again and make sure you choose the one which starts SVG. This is looking good, so I'll click Upload. And then when it's under your recent uploads, click it to get the green border and then press Add to Canvas. Here is my little gnome and you can see all of the pieces down here on the right hand side. To change the size of the gnome, make sure the padlock icon between the width and the height boxes is closed. If yours is open, then click it to close it. That means when you change either the width or the height and press enter on your keyboard, the other measurement changes in proportion, so everything stays looking exactly as it should. 9 inches is a bit big though, so I'm going to just change this to 7.5 and now I'm happy with the size of that gnome. When you're ready to cut it out, press Make It over on the top right and that will separate out all the colours of card. You can change the paper size in here. I'm going to go for A4, that's what I've got the most of in the UK. And you can scroll down to see all the different colours. Note that for this design there are 2 shades of brown, 2 shades of green and 2 shades of blue, so just keep an eye out for that when you're selecting your cardstock. You can move things about on your piece of paper by clicking and dragging, and this is a nice thing to do to make sure you use up less space on your cardstock where possible. For example, by moving that star up there, it means I've got this space down here that I could use on another project another day. Just make sure when you're moving things about that nothing overlaps like that, otherwise it's not going to cut out properly. When you're happy with how everything's looking, press continue to connect to your Cricut machine and follow the on-screen instructions to get everything cut out from cardstock. Here are all of my layers cut out and I've put them one on top the other just to check I'm happy with the colours and that I haven't missed anything out. I'll be sticking this together with a combination of glue and 3D foam squares. The glue I'm using is called Collal. I really like it because it doesn't bend or wrinkle the cardstock like some glues can do, and I put it into these needle tip applicator bottles. They're very, very thin nozzles on them, which means it's super easy to get the glue into all the little tiny places. The foam squares I'm using are these ones. Mine are quite small, which is going to be ideal. If yours are big, then you can cut them down with a pair of scissors if you need to. To stick this together, we need to start at the bottom and work our way upwards. So I'll move all these pieces apart and I'm going to try and keep them in vaguely the right order. There we go, and that one, and now I'm just left with these 2 bottom pieces. This one will be glued on, and this is just creating the little bit of detail in his beard. Just draw pretty pictures on there with my glue. And then that goes right on top, like that. Next, we've got the hat, and I think for this one I'm also going to glue it because we've not got a lot on the design to be kind of needing the depth, but there's still a lot to go on top. So I don't want this to end up super duper thick. So we'll glue this one and then the one that goes on top too. There's that one. I've not quite got that lined up. That's better. And then this one will also be a glue layer. Oh no, look, I've broken it. See? Oh dear. I don't think it'll notice once it's all glued on. I hope it doesn't anyway. It's quite a clean break, so must have done that in between cutting it and then getting it ready to stick. I could recut the layer, but for one tiny little thing, I don't think it's even going to notice. It should join up. Yeah, by the time that glue's dry, you won't see that. That's just a tiny little ding. Won't even notice. Okay, next we have this layer, which is going to make up the front of the hat. And this will be a glue layer, a foam square layer. In my head, I was saying foam squares, and I was even going to get the squares, and then the word glue came out of my mouth. All right, so I'm putting my foam squares around the edge, but I will also put some in the middle of the design. And that's because if there was nothing in the middle, then it's going to sag downwards under the weight of itself and the weight of the other layers on top. So we need to make it super sturdy with a few foam squares in the middle. And then peel the tops off of these foam squares to reveal the stickiness underneath. Right. I'm going to line that up and then gently drop it down so that if I'm not happy with the positioning, I can move it and it's not going to damage anything. Did you hear that? That was a very loud truck going past. Maybe even a tractor. Okay, I'm happy with that, so let's push it down to seal. Next, it's his little moustache. And I'm trying to decide on this one. I'm going to glue them because, I mean, for me personally, I've used quite thick card, so it's going to have dimension here. I think glue's going to look best. Otherwise, the moustache will be too far away from that back bit of the beard. But it's up to you. You probably could foam this one too and it would look okay. And then the detail layer in his moustache. Definitely a glue layer because you do not want to be sticking foam in that teeny tiny thin moustache. Oops. That one on top. For his star on the hat, that will be done with foam. I'm going to cheat and put the foam on the design. Just makes it a little bit easier when you're doing small pieces. And the same for his nose. He's so cute. I love how the character comes as soon as you get the nose on there. Okay, next is the background for the dad. And I'm trying to think, do I want to foam this or do I want to glue it and then foam this bit? So you could either foam the red and glue the yellow, or glue the red and foam the yellow. Did I just say that same thing twice? I don't remember. Let's try again. You can either foam the red and glue the yellow, or glue the red and foam the yellow. There we go. I will glue the red and foam the yellow. Not quite sure why I made that so difficult. You must be watching this like, what is she talking about? Okay, glue. and then foam. Dad! Now for his hand over this side, we'll add a little bit of foam so it looks like he's really reaching over, grabbing those letters. But for the one on the left, we've got the best, and I'll glue the 2 blue bits and then foam the hand on top. So this one is glued, and then this one will be foamed. It's a bit small, but we got there. Best. Okay. And then finally, because my glue's still wet, I will put it on the back of there. Come on, peel off. His little hand on there. And then there's our number 1 best dad gnome, all finished and ready for Father's Day. It's got lots of dimension in and he looks pretty awesome. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make this adorable little layered papercraft gnome for Father's Day. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut crafts and free SVGs. Thank you for watching. Bye!